As Clark's parents take off, he speeds to school. We then see a strange lady at the farm. She enters their house and looks around. She looks at Clark's picture. At school, we see the same woman. She tells Clark she's his mother. Clark tells his parents that a strange woman left her number for him to call. She even bought a house in Smallville and also knew about his adoption with the Metropolis United Charities. Jonathan and Martha talk to Rachel. She says that her son Lucas was the only child that Metropolis United Charities handled. She had to give him up for some reason. She doesn't want to take away Clark, whom she believes is Lucas, but wants to get to know him. Jonathan tells her to stay away from his family. Clark found out that Chloe has been getting emails from Rachel. He tells her that she promised she would stop digging into his adoption. She claimed that she posted only a few notices on adoption websites that this woman responded to. But Clark's mad that she started this all over again. When he says that she showed up in Smallville, Chloe thinks she might be his real mom. Clark then tells her she should go look for her own mother first. She then says that her mother is not interested in her. As he leaves, she says that Metropolis United Charities was founded by Lionel Luthor. The woman is now visiting Lex and wants him to intercede for her. He doesn't want to do it. She then tells him that she worked as a nurse for his mother. Lionel got her pregnant and made her give up the child for adoption. She says that Clark is his brother. Chloe says that she had a massive blowout with Clark. Lana tells her that the man on the picture is Henry Small. He might be her biological father. She wants Chloe's help to find out more. Clark tells his parents that he found out that Lionel founded Metropolis United Charities. Jonathan then recounts what happened during the meteor shower. After they found Clark, Jonathan hurried to a vehicle. The man he knew has died. He then took the truck and loaded the spaceship. Martha holds Clark and Jonathan uncovers the ship. As they're driving, Lionel suddenly appears on the road. He's in shock and asks Jonathan for help. Jonathan covers Lex up and then takes them along in the truck. Lionel asks him what he's carrying as it's slowing them down. Clark smiles upon Lex and touches his head. We then see the young Lex in hospital. Lionel thanks Jonathan. He tells him that he can call him if he ever needs something. Clark says he's a hero. Just then, the sheriff arrives who says that Rachel has petitioned Judge Ross to order a DNA test. Someone will come by to take Clark's DNA. Lana visits a house and hears a man speaking loudly about some legal matters. He knows her from the town but boycotts it because of the Luthors. She tells him that he used to date her mom. He says it's ancient history, but then she bluntly says he might be her father. She's told that she made a mistake and he has a family. She shouldn't bother him again. Lana leaves whilst crying. A nurse takes Clark's DNA as the sheriff's present. Jonathan wants to make sure no one will be able to test it. Clark and Pete have broken into Metropolis labs. He finds with his x-ray the DNA sample and then tells Pete he needs his spit. Clark then asks his parents why they asked Lionel for help. Martha says they didn't know what to do with him and then recounts the story when he was at their home the first time. They told the sheriff that they had adopted him. They then had to ask Lionel for help to back it up. That night, Lex says that Rachel told him they're brothers. Lionel is surprised by Rachel's visit. He says that they had an agreement. She says that Lionel altered the DNA results and that Clark is their son. He says that she's completely irrational. When she says that he took away her child, Lionel says that she was well compensated and taken care of. She was in the psychiatric ward for 7 years. He tells her she was lovely but needs to move on now. As Lex leaves with his car, Rachel shoves a needle into his neck. He goes to sleep. Clark is still mad at Chloe for what she did. Lana says that she went looking for the man on the picture, Henry Small, and got denied. He tells her to try again. Lex is tied up at Rachel's house. She's fixing the house so that Clark will feel at home. She then says that Lionel will either tell the truth or lose his son. Lionel has been told that if he doesn't hold a press conference and announce that Clark's adoption was a sham, Lex will be killed. Clark asks Chloe for help again. He then apologizes for what he said earlier about her mom. Chloe says that she left her at the age of 5. She then sees that she can't find the address on Rachel's name. When she writes Lucas Luthor, they find an address. Lionel speaking to the press. He says that Lex has been kidnapped but he will never give in to her demands. She then grabs an axe. As she swings, he kicks her away but falls unconscious. When she's about to swing again, Clark enters and jumps in to save Lex. She's surprised at this. He then tells her he's not her son. She then cries as he holds her. Henry visits the town and tells Lana he read her letter. He's not sure if he's her dad but is willing to find out. Rachel has been admitted to a private psychiatric clinic. They feel sorry for her. Clark asks his dad why he hates Lionel so much. He then recounts what happened. When Lionel brought the adoption papers, he asked Jonathan for a favor, which was to speak to the Ross brothers so that they'll sell their factory to him, but Jonathan didn't want to be involved. Lionel then told him to be careful that the family welfare wouldn't find out that the adoption was a sham. When Jonathan asked him if he's threatening him, he said that he's just asking for a favor. Jonathan eventually convinced them to sell their factory and says that he helped the Luthors to get a foothold in this community. He blames himself for the problems caused by the Luthors in Smallville. He didn't tell Clark so that he wouldn't blame himself, but Clark says it is all his fault. Jonathan tells him to never believe it as it was his decision and his fault all alone. Lex questions Lionel if Rachel bore an illegitimate son of his. He never knew she was pregnant. She reappeared one day with a child claiming it to be Lionel's. He had the child placed with a suitable family. When Lex wants to know where the child is, Lionel says he died before his first birthday. As Lex leaves, he grabs his watch. We see Lionel with a young boy on a picture.